Recap of previous teachings. Good evening, everyone. I pray that you've had a blessed day and that this message finds you in good health and peace. May our Heavenly Father keep you and protect you, shining His face upon you and granting you wisdom and understanding to uncover the secrets of the Torah. Today, we're going to review Genesis 1:1 to 29, Jubilees 2 to 3, and Jubilees 49 before we continue with our study in Jubilees chapters 4 and Eindaude. In our previous studies, we covered the yearly calendar, which is a combination of the lunar and solar calendars that measures time based on the sun and moon. This calendar, created at the beginning of creation, has 364 days, 52 weeks, and 4 seasons. Each month begins with the new moon, and New Moon Day is celebrated as a feast unto our Heavenly Father. The year begins in the month of Aviv, Nisan, around March 20th, during the spring equinox, when day and night are equal in length. This is not only the first month, but also the beginning of the first season. As the moon cycles from 0% to 100%, the seasons cycle each year, with nature rejuvenating in spring. The Passover feast and Feast of Unleavened Bread start in the spring. The Passover is an eternal ordinance to be observed once a year, as Jubilees 49:7-8 says, with no limit to its observance. However, we must be cautious in observing the Passover, as it must be celebrated in the place God has chosen, where His name dwells. Jubilees 49:21 warns against celebrating it anywhere else. I recommend keeping it as a memorial for now, especially since we don't know where His name dwells today. The Feast of Unleavened Bread can still be celebrated for 7 days. The importance of Passover is that it acts as a covering and protection for the year. Jubilees 49:15 explains that if we observe it properly, no plague will come upon us, just as God protected the children of Israel during the Exodus. In Jubilees 2 to 3, we covered the creation of Adam and Eve. Jubilees 3:8 to 15 discusses childbirth laws for male and female children, which are also mentioned in Leviticus 12. When a man and woman have intercourse, they become one flesh, which is why Adam called Eve his wife after knowing her, as written in Genesis 2:24. We also looked at God's creation in 6 days and how He rested on the 7th day, setting an example for us to observe the Sabbath as an eternal ordinance. Contrary to popular belief, the Sabbath is not a future rest after death, but a day of rest here and now. It's a holy day that God sanctified, and it is to be observed forever. As Isaiah 66:23 says, "From one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, all flesh will worship God." In Jubilees 2:20 to 29, God chose Jacob and his descendants to keep the Sabbath, and it's an eternal statute. Numbers 15:14 to 16 confirms that strangers who choose to serve God must also observe the commandments, including the Sabbath. These laws are not just for the children of Israel, but for all who seek to follow the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Important addition. It's important to note that animals ceased speaking after Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden. Before their fall, animals were able to communicate, as seen with the serpent convincing Eve to eat the fruit. Once Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit, they realized they were naked, and it became an order for them to cover their nakedness. This is why humans have an innate inclination to cover their nakedness and not expose themselves. It is built into us as part of God's design. Key verse about the Sabbath. To clarify the importance of the Sabbath, it is not a future rest after death, but a time to rest from labor and be refreshed, just as our Father did. Jubilees 2:20 to 22 states, "And thus He created therein a sign in accordance with which they should keep Sabbath with us on the 7th day, to eat and to drink, and to bless Him who has created all things, as He has blessed and sanctified unto Himself a peculiar people above all peoples, and that they should keep Sabbath together with us." This verse emphasizes that the Sabbath is a day to rest, eat, drink, and bless God. It is a time to refresh ourselves, just as God did when He sanctified the 7th day. The commandments and feasts have been established since creation and became a law when God commanded Moses to share them. Deuteronomy 4:2 says, "Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye diminish aught from it." These are eternal statutes, and if you want a closer relationship with God and to be part of the Messiah's kingdom, these commandments are essential. As Ecclesiastes 12:13-14 states, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil." The commandments and feasts are not abolished. They are vital to our spiritual journey. Please take time to read all the scriptures I went over today to get a better understanding. Jubilees chapters 1, 2, 3, and 49, and Genesis chapter 1 are important for your study. If you haven't already, click subscribe for more lessons and feel free to ask questions. Share this channel with others, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. This is a learning space, and I'm excited to grow with you. Stay in prayer, seek God while you can. Shalom.